Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a deep dive into one of the most powerful myths in Western culture, the deal with the devil. But we're not just going to retell an old story. Oh no. We are exploring a fascinating and, frankly, a deeply unsettling modern twist on what it even means to sell your soul. For centuries, the answers seemed pretty straightforward. You trade your eternal salvation for something huge, something ultimate, right here on Earth. Unlimited power, forbidden knowledge, you name it. Now, the legend really has two super famous versions, and each one tells you a lot about the time it was written. First, you've got Marlos Festus. This guy, living in an age of religious anxiety, goes all in for magic and power, and, well, it ends badly. It's a tragic warning. Then, 200 years later, Goethe's Faust comes along. He's a product of the Enlightenment. He makes a pact not just for power, but for endless striving to experience everything. And guess what? He's ultimately redeemed. Both of them, in their own way, represent this powerful spirit of becoming. And that brings us to the question at the heart of our explainer today. It's a question that comes from a kind of rejected fragment of the legend, and it introduces a whole new kind of bargain, one that doesn't seek greatness at all, but something else entirely. So let's meet our character. He's the one who turns this entire legend completely on its head. His name is Salvio Pulido, the Pale Redeemer. And he represents a really profound shift in what a modern soul might actually bargain for. So unlike the classic Fausts who wanted to, conquer the world, Pulido just wants an insurance policy against it. He offers his soul and the souls of everyone who follows him, not for striving, not for power, but for a life with absolutely no struggle at all. And this phrase just sums it all up perfectly. The core of his request isn't about walking the tightrope of life successfully. It's about lowering that rope right down to the ground. He's bargaining for immunity from the very possibility of falling. It's an end to this spirit of becoming. Okay, so how does hell itself react to this completely unprecedented offer? Well, the parable describes a trial before the Council of Inferno, and their reaction is probably not what you're thinking. Satan, the Red Judge, he's ready for business as usual. He's expecting another ambitious rebel, another Marlowe, someone ready to risk it all for greatness. He's looking for a soul that burns with desire. But right away, Beelzebub, the Lord of the Flies, senses something is off. This soul isn't marked by the usual sins of passion or greed. Instead, it has this sterile cleanliness. A scent of preservation, not ambition. And then Lucifer, the very embodiment of pride and rebellion, he chimes in. And he is basically insulted. He sees absolutely no desire for greatness here, only a wish for a comfortable, managed kind of servitude. And right here, the bargain is laid bare for all to see. Pulido formally requests an end to striving, an end to risk, an end to growth itself. He wants to trade any potential for greatness for an ironclad guarantee of safety. So the council's reaction? It's not anger. It's not even temptation. It's something far, far more damning. It's contempt. Lucifer just drives the point home. The whole Faustian bargain is built on risk. He's saying, look, even the damned had the courage to try for something more. This new soul isn't asking for power. It's asking for a kind of oblivion. So the Council of Inferno rejects the deal. Completely. They flat out refuse to take his soul. And Satan's final judgment reveals the truly shocking twist. A soul that takes no risks, that has no ambition, that only seeks comfort. Well, it isn't even worthy of being damned. Its sin is so small, so administrative, that hell actually considers it beneath them. So if hell doesn't want him, what happens to him? What's his fate? This is where the parable gets really interesting, because it defines a uniquely modern kind of damnation, one that doesn't need any fire or brimstone. You see, the tragedy here isn't losing the battle for your soul. The real tragedy is having a soul that wasn't even worth fighting for in the first place. He's free from the devil, sure, but he's trapped by something far worse, himself. He's returned to his own personal hell, a world reflected in what the story calls the uncanny mirror. In this world, nothing ever changes, nothing grows, and nothing is ever at risk, all because he willed it to be so. He is his own jailer in a prison of his own design.
So his punishment, in the end, is to get exactly what he asked for: a life without becoming, an eternity of sameness, a final destination that is nowhere.
And so the parable leaves us with this final, really provocative question, turning that uncanny mirror right back towards us. In a world that seems to value safety and comfort more and more, it asks us to think about the true cost of lowering that tightrope.